Clear. Barnes, you alright? Hey, sit tight, alright? Yep, I'll sit tight. Rogue 1, this is Lightning 1-3. Be advised, we have sniper fire coming from the southwest corner of the courtyard. Do you have eyes on? Over. Roger, wait 1. Hey, grab some combat goggles and start packing that. Yep, on it. Hey, Lightning 1-3, what are we working with? Caliber, range, what do we got? Roger, be advised, it seems like it was a smaller caliber rifle fired about 100 to 200 meters outside of the enclosure. Over. Roger, I have eyes on. Stand by. Roger, standing by. Hey, start coming this way, come on. Hey, Lightning 1-3, you should be good. Send a BDA when possible. Over. Roger, I think that did the trick. Tango Mike. Lightning 1-3 out.
Right, y'all, welcome back to Commodore Arms channel. Okay, so it turns out that fake blood actually stains clothing, which is unfortunate, but I mean, I guess I can probably use this as like a stolen valor story or something. Okay. Well, today's intro was kind of pertinent to what we're going to be checking out. So today we're checking out something from the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. So that's the same awesome team responsible for the iCOVER video we checked out before. Kind of talking about how you can deal with combat stress. Now this one is titled Warrior Mindsets, Gaining a Tactical Advantage. So this is all about, in the heat of the moment, being able to sort of refocus, get back into the fight. And it seems very similar to kind of what we learned in the Marine Corps, OODA loop, which is observe, orient, decide, act, and then kind of just keep repeating that. You need to kind of be in control of your OODA loop. And I guess this is kind of a tool to be able to assist in being able to control that, being able to kind of refocus, again, get back into the fight, make decisions, make sound decisions, and kind of just control your emotions throughout that. So should be pretty interesting. Again, this isn't really stuff that was really briefed to me at all when I was in the Marine Corps Infantry and Army Infantry. In the Marine Corps, again, we had OODA loop, but that was pretty much the extent of it. That and the Cooper's color code. So you talk a little bit about the combat mindsets, but again, as far as how to implement it, wasn't so much practical application with that. And in the Army, there was also a lot less. So it's kind of cool that they're coming up with strategies to be able to actually implement real time. So should be good. Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay. Yeah, nice intro. You know I'm a sucker for some good intros. Okay, so.
All right, listen up. Everyone's head on a swivel. Stay alert, stay alive, just like rock drills in a file. Risano, you've got a point.
Too easy, Sarge.
Yeah, that sergeant looks and sounds a lot like a lieutenant. I don't know if that's weird to say. Maybe it is kind of weird to say. Yeah, I'm going to be kind of assessing how they do everything also, just kind of as their certain rank and also position inside the squad. It looks like it's going to be a squad size element kind of thing. And also checking out their gear, see if we see anything a little crazy. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Camelback over the IOTV, but that's neither here nor there.
Like rock drills in a file. Risano, you've got a point.
Too easy, Sarge.
I appreciate the confidence. Let's go.
Too easy. Hey, it's a good expression. When your soldiers are saying that, feels good as a leader. All right, a little bit more dispersion. We'd be all right. All right. Warrior mindset. Let's see how they do. It's a nice mount town. Holy cow. Little smoke effect. Oh, and they have M18s or M17s as well. Okay.
Austin, get your head out of your ass. Focus on those rooftops. It's your job. Everybody has their piece.
Yo, get the weapons up a little bit higher, making me nervous.
What's important now?
Win.
Okay, a little hand arm signals, I like it. So yeah, this is all about warrior mindset. So I'm waiting for somebody to take contact. And this is not necessarily the ideal location to take contact, kind of in the middle of an alley, and again, kind of with this level of dispersion. So let's see how they do.
Sergeant, I got an obstacle ahead. It's not tied off on the end.
Okay,
Push.
nice observation. Bruh. Yo, screw that. I would go inside of the building and go around that. That looks like a trap right there. It's like an IED
Let's move.
magnet. It's like, here's this
Sarah,
perfectly good opening
provide cover
in
for
this
Miller and Olsen.
dirt.
Miller, Olsen, move across the road to the corner of the building at 10 o'clock. Got a far-side security. Persano, we'll move once they're set. Ready?
Roger.
Olsen, I got you. Take a deliberate breath and visualize your route. You got this.
That's a good one, visualizing the route.
Move.
I mean, you wouldn't think you have to train that. Oh, he did like a slide into the knee there too. How are they doing these effects? Pretty good. Okay.
Miller, on the corner. Persano, cover the road to the right. Olsen, cover our 6.
Nice. Okay, so it's a fire team sized element, so a lot more sketchy, especially when you're dealing with something like this. Generally speaking, you know, it'd be ideally a squad, but really you'd have like a bunch of people kind of helping to cordon off certain areas. So with this, like they're kind of really out on their own. So as a team leader, of course, it's going to be super important to kind of direct all your dudes to maintain security. And that's kind of the biggest thing is, you know, you can easily get schwacked if somebody just comes around this corner, shoots everybody in the back. So is this his bolt is back? Does he know that? Unless I just pause it at like the perfect time. Yeah, so good on this team leader.
Persano, cover the road to the right. Olsen, cover
Okay.
our 6.
Get a fresh magazine in there
Bravo
first.
2, be advised, troops in contact. Rooftop, building to the north. 2 Bravo 2. We are behind cover.
Capaldi's been hit. You need to move across to the building at your 2 o'clock and secure the rooftop.
Roger, moving. Apparently some of the gunfire was sent 18's way. Capaldi's been hit. Green wants us to move on that building and secure
Not
it.
something you want to hear for
We need
sure.
to take down those shooters so they can evac him. Any questions? Miller, peek that
All right,
corner.
good communication.
Check
I
for
like it.
IEDs. We know they use IEDs and obstacles. We know this one's overwatched.
Roger.
Okay.
5s and 25s. Then as far out as you can see.
All right, so they're talking about doing scanning. So yeah, that's kind of important. Again, when it comes to something like this, even something as simple, kind of like what they mentioned before, is visualize your route. That's an important thing, but even understanding how to scan in front of you. So kind of taking it from, you know, the short range, you know, generally where it's going to be kind of more of a bigger threats or more immediate threats. Doing the scan of the immediate area, kind of pushing out a little bit further. And of course, when you have areas like this, just being able to kind of scan up and down, which is going to be important. So making it a little bit more methodical definitely helps as well, especially when you're under kind of high stress. Makes it easy to fall back on some of those principles or fundamentals that you've probably trained during training, and you know, you can kind of revert to here.
Clear. Let's get ready to go across the street to the building to the north.
Okay. Bro,
Sergeant, I got a metal box at 12 o'clock, 25 meters out. There's a cell phone on the side.
Roger, I'll call it in. T-Rex 4, T-Rex 4, this is 2 Bravo.
It's a T-Rex.
9-line report. 9-1, 10 October.
okay, so they're doing a
1400 hours. 9-2, Bravo team, 1st platoon.
How did
X-ray.
little UXO9 line.
Could have got us killed.
Yo, keep your head in the game, all right? I got your back and you got mine.
Hey, listen up, we can't stay here. We have no EOD support. Let's get ready to move across the road to the building to the north.
Okay, so again, good observation. The dude's kind of psyching himself out here, and his buddy's kind of helping him out a little bit. Again, as a squad leader specifically, I've noticed this a few times, not necessarily when it comes to kind of confidence in your job. Again, people will just kind of end up falling into a routine, or they end up finding a job. As long as you've been kind of working for a while, But again, depending on the seniority, how junior these guys are or not, sometimes it can be a little bit much if you're in like a new kind of situation. So being able to be like, yo, dude, relax. We're kind of all in this together. So kind of worrying about stuff that happened even like 2 minutes ago, there's really no time for that.
Olsen, cover our 6. Ready? Let's move.
Ooh,
While
okay.
executing a task, soldiers must quickly separate distractions from real threats. It is vital to have tools that focus the brain on what matters, especially in a tactical situation.
All right, so they're going to break it down.
Whether personal, professional, or in the environment, distractions detract from your ability to focus on the task in front of you. One critical skill you have for sustaining attention is to remind yourself to focus on what's important now. Do this by remembering the acronym WIN. When you're feeling distracted, direct your attention to what's most important right at this moment in order to help you keep your head in the game and achieve your goal.
And this is something that they kind of preach a lot in the infantry, is like having a work-life balance, because there's going to be a lot of stresses at work. There's going to be a lot of personal stresses at home, and you need to be able to kind of set them aside. Of course, sometimes it's going to be more difficult than others depending on the situation. But again, kind of like when you're going to training, especially if you're in a deployed environment or a combat environment, you really kind of need to separate that as much as you can. And kind of what they're saying, what's important now, it's kind of a good acronym, especially, it's an easier one to remember with the whole WIN thing. So yeah, what's important now just allows you, again, to kind of get focused on what immediate dangers are there, or what are the immediate things you need to be focusing on.
It could be scanning a rooftop, moving around an obstacle, or even taking a tactical pause to slow your breathing. WIN is simple and coachable.
Tactical pauses are
Hey, Olsen,
clutch.
get your head out of your ass, focus on those rooftops. It's your job. Everybody has their piece.
Yeah, get that weapon up, dude.
This is
Nobody
a
cares
critical
that you're tired.
individual skill, but you can also use WIN to help your battle buddy. If you see them getting distracted, cue them to focus by reminding them to win.
Hey, remember, what's important now?
When?
Things don't always go right. It's these moments where resilience skills are particularly vital.
Sergeant, I got a metal box at 12 o'clock, 25 meters out. There's a cell phone on the side.
Roger, I'll call.
Yeah, so resilience, the Army talks a lot about resilience, more so kind of just in your everyday life. Again, just kind of generally dealing with stressors. But something like this, it really kind of relates more to that small unit leadership, which is why it's important to have like flexible NCOs to be able to kind of adapt to things really quickly. Of course, you're going to have a plan. You're going to have all these briefs like they're talking about, just like the rock drill. You're going to have those plans in place for sure. I mean, you would be remiss if you didn't. But of course, you need these adaptable, flexible leaders to be resilient, because you're going to come up with challenges or scenarios or, what have you, casualties. There's going to be things that you need to react to, and being able to kind of understand how to take each one stride by stride really allows you to calm everything down and take it piece by piece, so you're not getting overwhelmed and your dudes aren't getting overwhelmed, more importantly.
Okay. T-Rex 4, T-Rex 4, this is 2 Bravo.
Could've got us killed.
If Miller stays fixated on why he screwed up, he's going to be sidetracked and his confidence will be shaken. To keep from getting mentally stuck and compounding his mistake, he could implement the resilience skill known as self-talk. Self-talk comes in 2 forms: motivational, such as, "I've got this," and procedural, such as 5s, 25s.
Okay. I'm thinking I've done similar things. It wasn't necessarily like motivational. I guess it was kind of motivational. It was more of me being like, stupid motherfucker. Like, how the fuck would you miss that? And honestly, that does the trick for me for the most parts. But I kind of like this motivational and procedural. So again, kind of falling back on training specific things that you've learned. 5s, 25s is a good one. This is probably also a little bit more productive than what I was doing.
Engaged in purposeful action. Self-talk is simple but powerful. It cues us and keeps us energized. It's also a skill you can use with your battle buddy.
Yo, keep your head in the game, all right? I got your back and you got mine.
Buddy talk is critical when your teammate is struggling. Whether that's struggling with a task, with a decision, or with self-confidence, your voice can make a difference. Miller demonstrated this when he encouraged Olson.
Olson, I got you. Take a deliberate breath and visualize your route. You got this.
These guys are pretty good
Another
actors.
major skill to help reduce stress and increase focus is deliberate breathing. It can give you a tactical edge when you need it most. Here's how it works. Take a deep breath through your nose, using your abdomen to pull the air all the way to the bottom of your lungs. Inhale on the cadence of 5, then exhale on the cadence of 5.
Honestly, it sounds kind of goofy, but deliberate breathing is something you hear about all the time. I think even like Dave Grossman in his books On Combat or On Killing talks about doing tactical pauses. Even with the Army Master Resilience Training, you talk about the deliberate breathing as well. And it really does help. I mean, it has physiological effects to calm you down. Kind of like what they're saying here, taking a big deep breath in with your abdomen and then slowly releasing it really does help. So it helps with me. This is something I do when I'm personal speaking, like I have to do a brief or what have you. Not a fan of personal speaking whatsoever. I know I have a YouTube channel, but when there's like actual people, not a fan. So this really does help me out with that. And even when it comes to kind of crappy situations, it's helped me out when, for example, I had to respond to something and put a tourniquet on somebody, kind of in a real world scenario. So it helped me out there. I understood where to find my tourniquets, and everything kind of just kicked in after that.
As with any skill, it takes practice, so you have it in the heat of the moment. Deliberate breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which lowers your heart rate and adrenaline output, enabling your body to regulate its stress response. Taking 2 or 3 deliberate breaths will keep your body's stress response in check and help you gain a tactical advantage. Did you notice Olson? He realized he was getting a bit too revved up and needed to regain his focus. So he used another resilient skill called grounding. While there are different ways to use grounding, Olson used the 3x3 technique. In 3x3 grounding, you quickly and intentionally identify 3 things you can see, 3 things you can hear, and 3 things you can feel physically. Grounding impacts your body's autonomic nervous system and your brain's limbic system. It moderates your physiological activation, enabling you to focus more effectively. It's also good for when you need to be vigilant for long periods of time. Using this
Oh man, that would be a good one when you're on security and it's like 03 and you're under nods and it's raining and everything just kind of becomes a blur. That'd be nice to kind of just break the monotony until you're like physically looking at something and all of a sudden it moves and you start like shitting yourself.
Skill is another way to bring your attention and focus back to the here and now.
On me! Engage and destroy 3 enemy combatants. It's Charlie Mike time now.
Hey, got him.
Stand fast. We're working on evac. Bravo team. Full security from the rooftop.
Roger. Listen up.
They're all dirty and shit
We're
now.
gonna pull security for Alpha Team. With the evac Capaldi. I know we're all thinking about him. And we're feeling like there's nothing we can do. It's something we need to accept. Remember, we control the controllables. And what we can do is we can support them as they get them out into an aid station as quickly and safely as possible.
I'm noticing there's a few overlaps with like MRT as well. This is something that we kind of preach when it comes to overthinking certain things. We have a phrase called take control, which basically means there's a bunch of stuff that, you know, is completely out of your control and there's no sense really stressing about it too much, but focusing on the stuff that you can control, especially in like the here and now, allows you to kind of actually have steps to move towards something. It's a little bit more productive than kind of just, you know, getting overwhelmed and spiraling and thinking about a bunch of different things.
The reality is, there will always be things you cannot control. Identifying what you can control and what you cannot is a skill that helps you use your energy and attention in a more purposeful way instead of wasting it. Remembering the mental cue, control the controllables, helps you and your battle buddies to accept what you cannot control and take purposeful action where you can.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
We're gonna provide overwatch while Capaldi's extracted.
It's gonna be the best Overwatch ever.
You and I are on the wall first. Focus on avenues of approach and adjacent buildings.
Copy, Sergeant.
Olson, Miller, take a moment for an in-stride personal AAR. You think about what you did right during this mission, and we use that as a confidence builder for what we're gonna do next. Take 2 minutes. Give me an up when you're ready. Let's move.
Okay. In stride AAR. Is that
Every
what you
soldier
said?
knows what an AAR is. It's a core part of military culture. A brief in-stride personal AAR is a powerful tool to build confidence during an ongoing mission.
Yeah, so ARs, after action reviews or reports, I think it's reviews. Yeah, ARs are something you do. Generally, it's going to be like sustains and improves. What should we sustain doing this in the future? What can we improve on? Which is kind of interesting. I wonder if it's going to have that exact same mold when it comes to this in-stride one, maybe a little bit more condensed. But it is like a tactical pause right now, so they can kind of work a little bit more methodically on thinking about certain things. But yeah, let's see how it differentiates.
In stride, preparing to reset. Take a minute or two and pay attention to what you want to sustain rather than what you want to improve.
Okay.
For example, remember when
So
Miller
it's
was
just
upset
cutting out
about
half of
missing the
that.
IED? After the mission is over, he can focus on what he wants to improve about his performance.
Okay,
But in
I like that.
stride, his focus should be on specific actions he took that helped him and his team. Use a personal AAR to reset your mind, sustain your success, and stay motivated and engaged during the mission.
Interesting, a little pep talk basically. It's like, well, I didn't fuck this one up, so good on me.
As soldiers, you know the Army's battle drills. Whether you are a new soldier or an experienced one, you've learned how to execute these drills. Using these performance and resilience enhancement skills, skills that are targeted, portable, and easy to coach, will provide you
Portable.
and your team an edge. Remember, WIN, deliberate breathing, self-talk and buddy talk, grounding, control the controllables, personal AAR. These techniques can make a difference. You can integrate them into battle drills as well as day-to-day life. And using these skills with your battle buddies can help you and your team regulate stress levels, keep focused, and perform better.
Damn, this editing
With
is like
these skills, you've got their 6.
unnecessarily dope. I hope this music is copyright free. Okay, I kind of want to finish that music, but it is what it is. Again, hopefully, if it is copyrighted, that'll give me a little bit of a fighting chance at the end. Yeah, so that was solid. I think the what's important now is definitely a good one, because regardless of everything, if you're just kind of getting into your head too much or spiraling, or you're just thinking about all the worst things, kind of what's important now, like the first thing that they're talking about, immediately get you back on the mission, get you back on the task, and get you thinking about what can I do to help everything right now. It gets you looking for a job, and that's something that we said at least a lot in the Marine Corps, is always find a job. And you know, that's not necessarily during like an admin or bivouac location or in planning. It can be actually when you're engaged in something. So finding a job is very similar to OODA loop. So let me observe everything, let me orient myself, let me decide, and then let me act. Let me find a job and let me act on that real quick. And again, kind of what they're talking about with the deliberate breathing, again, that's pretty clutch. It sounds like kind of corny, but it really does work out to take that tactical pause. It's kind of funny. This is something that I've told my soldiers before, but it's also something that I tell my kids, like when they're kind of just really stressing out. I'm like, just take a deep breath and relax. And you know, they're a little bit younger, so they don't necessarily take like a really deep breath, but just kind of getting them to slow down and at least focus on something else helps a lot as well. So yeah, again, this has a lot of overlaps that I've seen with the master resilience training that we do in the Army, which again is pretty applicable just in general situation. Having resilience is good, just again to kind of get you focused on all the right things, get you in productive thinking as opposed to counterproductive thinking. And that's kind of what you need, especially when you're engaged in something, you know, that's life threatening. You want to be more productive, but of course sometimes it's more difficult than others. So having these things to be able to kind of revert to or think on will just allow you to be a little bit more successful when responding to certain things. So again, I think the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research knocked this one out of the park. I'll put the original video down in the description if you guys want to check it out. And then I'll also have some other helpful resources for you guys to reference, especially if you are a leader, an NCO, an officer in the military, or again, just kind of in any everyday life. Some of these skills can help you out as well. So I'll put some of that down in the description if you guys want to go and reference it and check it out. I recommend it because it seems like they have a lot of pretty interesting research going into this stuff, and it looks like they actually care and they've thought it through. It's not just like really corny stuff. So yeah, I like it. It's good stuff. It's definitely what the infantry should focus a little bit more on, at least talking about it a few times, because if you know it once, you can kind of think about it at one point in the future when you kind of need it. At least the leaders can. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Of course, if you guys have anything similar in your militaries, a way to kind of regain control in the heat of the moment, let me know what that looks like down in the comments section. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed the little Halloween intros for all of October. But I try and keep it applicable to the video sometimes. Other times it's a little bit of a stretch, I guess. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying that as well. But if you guys have anything else to recommend, definitely throw it down below. But that is it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.